Welcome to the TPC Desktop video series. In this video, we'll look at the new Medial Lines feature in TPC Desktop 2016 Release 1. I've opened up the Learn Medial Lines sample survey that's now included with Traverse PC, and the first drawing shows a specimen plat from the 2009 BLM Manual of Surveying Instruction. And if you look with me, we've got the Yellowstone River down here in sections 25, 26, 35, and 36. And then we've got a Lynn Lake over here in sections 17, 18, 19, and 20. In this video, let's go ahead and do the medial lines for the Yellowstone River and introduce you to how this works inside of Traverse PC. So I've created some traverses here for the Yellowstone River and the Lynn Lake meanders. Let's go ahead and open those up. I'm going to open up the Yellowstone River meander. And here we've just scanned the east half of that plat, and I'm going to just window in here a little bit so you can kind of see what we've done. So I may have had the original GLO notes on this, or if it's a new meander, I might be out there with GPS or GNSS equipment. In this particular case, we georeferenced the scan of the plat to the 40 lines based on the coordinate reference system here, and digitized it by clicking the points inside of Traverse PC's drawing view. So we've got the meander data in here, and if I open that up, take a look at it real quick. It's the Yellowstone River meander, and I really just have a bunch of true bearings, ground distances that define this meander, and we've drawn them in a teal color with circles here. So I'm starting then with a traverse that completely defines the meanders around this waterway. And we don't care if you go clockwise, counterclockwise. In fact, the points don't have to be in order, except I put them in order because I wanted to draw the meander. And this is the traverse I want to start with then to compute medial lines for. So I'm going to right-click the Yellowstone River, go down to COGO, and here's the command, medial lines. And we put the PLSS after it so that you know it's related to the Public Land Survey System. The dialog isn't real complicated. It just simply tells me that Traverse PC is going to create two traverses when I compute, one that's going to store the medial lines, and the other that's going to store all the medial points involved in the computation so that I can sort of fine-tune Traverse PC's solution. And I'm just going to tell Traverse PC I want to start with ML1 for the point labels, and I want to put ML for medial lines in the description, and let's go ahead and compute. And that's all it took. Traverse PC has now computed the medial line for me and added additional points. And let's just kind of walk through what has happened here. We'll open the Traverse Manager back up, and I'm going to pin that just for a moment here. Okay, so in addition to the meander, Traverse PC has now added two traverses, one for the medial line and one for the medial points. Let's unclick the medial points just for a moment and come and look at our drawing. So in the process of computing the medial solution, Traverse PC has picked what it thinks is a pretty good shot at the medial points we want to include in the solution. If I turn the medial points back on, you can see that in addition to this medial line in blue, I've also got these additional green points in here that I may or may not want to include in my solution. But that's up to me. I can fine-tune this and include those if I want. And I'm just going to show you real quickly kind of how that works. I'm going to change this hit test here so that Traverse PC isn't always interacting with this photo. I could put it on a background layer, or I could simply come up and say, I want to tell Traverse PC when I use a mouse, only select pictures by the border. So now I'm not going to get that interaction here that I don't want. Now let's come up to the dialog and simply tell Traverse PC that I want to fine-tune the medial line. And now if I follow the prompts here, I can simply click on a point to include it. Maybe I wanted to include that one. Maybe I wanted to include a couple of these up here real quick. So I just want to be over that point symbol. Traverse PC automatically adds that in. And maybe I feel that's a better representation. And then when I'm done, I can just click this and be done with it. And I now have modified the medial line traverse. I've added some points to it. If I wanted to take one of those points out, I could simply right-click or click one of these blue squares that is already in the medial line traverse, and it would remove it. Now, all these points that I'm clicking on and off to fine-tune the medial line are also in this Yellowstone River medial points traverse. So there are 56 medial points that got computed as part of this solution. 18 of them are currently being used to define that medial line. And you'll get pretty familiar pretty quick with these additional points in here. And almost always, when I see a group of medial points here, I can zoom in. I'll zoom in a little tighter here. And I'm going to turn zoom points off here. And I can see that I've got some boundary conditions on one side or the other that are forcing Traverse PC to create these additional points. And they're legitimate parts of the solution, but they just may or may not be necessary in here. So let's go ahead and just for the fun of it, pick up another one of these simply by clicking on the label here. Okay, we've added that in. And let's go ahead and add this one in. And then let's say, oh, no, maybe I didn't want that one in there to begin with. So I'm just going to take it back out and leave the other one in. Okay, that would be a legitimate way to kind of work with this solution. And I like that ability to come back and look at the meanders, the riparian boundaries here, and say, you know what, that was a little eddy or a backwater or a little inlet that I do want to consider or don't want to consider in my medial line solution. And Traverse PC makes it really easy for me to put those in. Now, in addition to the fine-tuning, I do have a summary button, and Traverse PC will give me the position of all the points that were included in the solution. And of course, I have the ability to undo, and Traverse PC will go in and remove that. And really the benefit of the undo is so that I can undo and redo, because I might want to say, hey, that was kind of what I wanted, but I'm going to update my meanders just a little bit and make sure that I've got those calls in there right, and then come back and recompute the medial lines again. So let's just hit the compute button and take a look again at what Traverse PC did for the medial lines here. I'll just zoom back out. I've got some background clearing on. You may not want to clear that deeply. I'm going to go into background clearing and tell it I don't want to necessarily do all the symbols here. And that'll just clean up the way that looks here. So quick look at how Traverse PC does medial lines according to the BLM 2009 Manual of Survey Instruction.